go from 2 million to 6 million. That's like about 12 months. I run optimization in the morning and then optimization throughout the day on the GTM side.
Is it better to grow one single founder account or focus on multiple accounts as your founder maybe who's possibly much larger?
You can't live on the, on a lifeline where you're just trying to catch the people that are ready to buy. We started to be like, how can we create more first-party signals? Lack of ideas, lack of time, lack of motivation, AI, agent.
How do you run ads? Everyone I've spoken to, LinkedIn doesn't play well, something called ad drift.
So LinkedIn does that. And there is going to be a percentage that won't go to your target audience, and nobody has solved that.
Outbound isn't dead. It just needed a system that Ivan would make. Welcome to Edbound with Kinner, Ivan. It's such a pleasure to have you here. I've been looking forward to this for such a long while.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's a pleasure. Same way.
Yes, and I see the stark global difference of how you are dressed and how I am dressed. I'm right now, in a cold place, and it does look like that you are in the exact opposite. It makes me feel like I should be where you are. But, we unfortunately can't do that over the podcast. So let's begin with some knowledge exchange. Maybe that gives me some warmth.
Yeah, for sure. That's
awesome. So you lead growth at ColdIQ. Let's say you were in a room full of interesting entrepreneurs, at one of the conferences or somewhere. You met all of these guys. How would you like to introduce yourself? What's the general introduction that dazzles everybody?
Wow. Yeah. Dude, I don't know if I'm going to dazzle anybody, but I'm the head of growth at ColdIQ. So basically, I joined ColdIQ when we're like close to 2 million ARR. And since then, I helped them to go from 2 million to 6 million. That's like about 12 months. And then obviously the goal right now is to hit 1 million and MRR per month in the next 2 to 3 years, while keeping the profitability. And during that time as well, I helped multiple B2B companies. I was the one that started a new section of the ColdIQ. We're a GTM agency, but we didn't have an ABM service. So I started that ABM service so we could utilize our outbound list building, GTM, tech capabilities to run as well ads and ABM campaigns. And from there, I work with top tech companies like ARR, for example, which I saw them go from 1 million ARR to going past 10, working together. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much on the professional side how I would describe myself.
Lovely. And anything interesting we should know about you on the personal side?
I would say, I'm a coffee fan. So all the optimizations I run in GTM, I also run them in coffee every single day. I just try to there's so much on coffee. If you run it for a bit more, or if you grind it in a bit thicker than usual, the taste is going to be different. So I think that's also an analogy to GTM. So I run optimization in the morning and then optimization through all the part of the day on the GTM side.
Well, don't tell me. I'm the same. This morning I was just I have this cook, a helper in the kitchen, and he grinded my coffee an extra point for possibly 30 seconds more. And my machine was not giving me the same consistency. And I'm a big coffee connoisseur, or, whatever you want to kind of call it. But so lovely to meet somebody else who uses it. I, by the way, carry a Wakako Nespresso or a Wakako machine with me usually wherever I travel. So I can grind my own beans and, take out the espresso wherever I want in the specific consistency. So that's super interesting. But let's not bore people with this coffee talk. This is not Coffee with Kinner. This is Edbound with Kinner. So let's jump on. I could call you a growth ninja. I mean, $2 to $6 million is just unbelievable. And you stand by this inbound-led outbound approach. I think that's one of the things that you kind of highlight. By the way, for people who are listening to us right now, I think they all should go and follow you, because in GTM space, I've been loving your content. And I think I kind of heard this from a lot of people. You do some fantastic content on LinkedIn, some of the tear downs, playbooks, all of that you share. So would you like to just maybe highlight this inbound led outbound approach a bit more, open it, and then I'll have some deeper questions for you.
Sure, sure. I mean, inbound led bound, it's been like one of the best motions here at ColdIQ. And the reason is because we kind of like caught a limit with cold outbound where, you're continuously obviously like sending emails and like approaching people that they are not warm to you. And that can work well when you have like that percentage of audience that are ready to buy. But there is a difference between like capturing demand and generating demand, right? So that's what we started to see. Like you can't live on on a lifeline where you're just trying to catch the people that are ready to buy. But like scale, you need to generate that demand.
Yeah.
Where we started like scaling our inbound motions. That means like one of our strongest ones was LinkedIn content. And obviously through that, you can generate, inbound interest. But then there is like the people that just gonna wait. And some companies, they just wait for inbound leads to come in. However, every single like engagement that you have on your LinkedIn, some like website visits that you get, profile views, are like people raising their hand that they might be interested, but they might not be ready to, to book a demo, or they just don't want, they're busy during the day. They saw a post that they like, they're just not ready. They haven't, they went in your scheduler, they haven't found the time maybe. And all of that are signals. Now everybody's like crazy with signals, which is like this third party or second party signals, which are the signals that you like from other parties. But then we started to be like, how can we create more first party signals, which is like people in our ecosystem that have raised the hand, how we can like check like the engagement, the profile views, website visits, and any other signal that we have at our disposal to run outbound campaigns to that people. So we don't have to go for like just cold accounts and cold leads. So that's basically what inbound led outbound is like, leading with inbound motion, but then using outbound to reach out to that people that have been warmed.
Wow, this is gold. I want to go deeper into this motion, but I have a couple of questions. So number one, you mentioned that one of the inbound channels that's worked really well for you has been LinkedIn. One of the channels? I mean, is it the biggest? And how many others are there? What's the portion that LinkedIn commands?
Yeah. LinkedIn is like one of our top channels. It's showing there, like I don't have the exact percentage because there is a lot of, when you run your attribution analysis, which also that's like another conversation there on the attribution side, right? A lot of the traffic comes from direct a lot of times, but that's also a cost of your branding. And then you have to understand where you're branding and where people are getting to know you. And we have like around 4 million impressions per quarter, or like with a ColdIQ team on LinkedIn. So that's
Whoa,
like
how many people? How many people are there?
uh, posting on LinkedIn consistently. I think we managed like to have like 10 people in the team to post consistently.
What's the frequency? What's the frequency of these
Three
posts?
times per week. 3 times per week at least. Founders are doing once per day.
Okay, so at least 35 to 40 posts a week. I mean, overall, like you're
Overall.
producing that scale. I think I want to go back to this, but what you're essentially saying is that LinkedIn is the biggest surface to generate these conversations and inbound leads for you, right? I mean, is it safe to say that it's possibly 95% of where your content gets seen?
Uh, our content, yes. So I would say a little bit less than that, because right now we started going very strong in the last 6 months on SEO, and also we're exploring with AI search.
Mm.
And we have, I don't know if as well you're aware of that, we have an AI sales tool directory. So we're ranking because we test thousands of tech tools across the team, and then we rate them, we select what works best for what, and then we put them into our AI sales directory where people can just check and get to
Yeah,
know.
I've seen that. It's a nifty tool. I think it's a brilliant listicle playbook. like you're listing great tools and it gives you good rankings in SEO. So yeah, that must be doing well. So SEO, LinkedIn, mostly for regular content, it's LinkedIn, right? I think I kind of get that. But any other surface that we are missing for your content production? Reddit, Stack Overflow, Quora, any of those? Not
No,
right now.
no. Right now we just going strong on that SEO side and LinkedIn content
So
basically.
written text, I believe it's mostly written text, or are you also playing with like video content or anything like that?
No, it's actually written text and visuals as well. I think one of the key things and like something that's part of ColdIQ is our visuals, infographics that we create. That's like has worked very well for us.
Okay. When you spoke about 35, 40 posts a week overall, like, 10 members, is it a lot of repurposing of content, or are you looking at a machine that's independently every single person out of these 10 people is generating a different batch of ideas? I mean, have you built a single brain, like a single LLM or an agent that kind of helps everyone?
Yeah, so we do have like systems to actually help with that process. Because if you want to get like a team to post, you're gonna find out like usually three challenges. The first is like lack of ideas, and that's sitting on a blank page. That's a very hard one to get through it. And that just can make people like not to post anything, not because they are not experts or even because they don't have ideas, but sometimes they even don't have the confidence that those ideas are useful to share. So that's the one. Then the second one is lack of time. So you need like a process. So like from idea to produce post, you can shorten the time as much as possible. So then the
Yeah.
team is like, okay,
Yeah.
I have the idea that now I have the design team here. I have like the process and my AI agent in Claude with all my information and my knowledge to write that content. And now even we're exploring with like AI design right now. So recently also like
Yeah.
some of my like last posts are actually completely done with AI. So if you go on my LinkedIn, there are some that are tagged and they're done with AI. And then it's like the third one is lack of motivation. So we have a reward system as well to get the team to post, and then like by the amount of posts that they do, they will get rewarded financial incentive. So if you solve those three things, which are also that's something we help companies implement, you're able to create a content system where like it's not only your founder but like the employees can post consistently.
And this is a general conversation that I like to talk to people who are experts on LinkedIn. Is it better to grow one single founder account, or focus on multiple accounts that might just be at like 2,000, 3,000 followers, and versus your founder maybe who's possibly much larger account? Like you're at about 20,000 if I'm not wrong, right? I mean, what sounds a bit better to you?
I I would say that, like the what worked for us is obviously like first it was like the founder led content, but if you can just give that system, if you like focus on like figuring out as a founder, so you put all your effort to figure out that account. The moment your account starts working, you should take those learnings and share that with the team. That's basically what Mish, our founder, did. Started like getting like some insights and started sharing that with the team and saying like, "Hey, this content is working well for us. Yeah, like this is what I think, like how I go about content, and this is like what's working, what's not, etc." And then we started having like these workshops where we sharing ideas, and then everybody gets their own, way to do it. They experiment, and then I went, for example, from 2K to now close to 20K. Alongside that was with ColdIQ, and
So
that's just like
how long 2K
that
to 20K?
12 months. So it's been like a little bit more.
Incredible.
Yeah, a little bit more than I joined a little bit more than 12 months ago, and then started posting around like 12 months ago. So yeah, I do believe that like having a system where every employee creates content consistently, that's going to show up like there's going to be like way more rewarding than just having like a founder, to grow your account.
At any point of time, do you see, instead of employees even doing it themselves, maybe a single agent supplying everybody in the team different types of content and telling them, how about you post this today? Is that something that you see happening soon?
Yeah, I mean, we do have like within our team, we have like a content team. that also like creates content for different people in the team and designs. And every person in the team, they have like a different style, copy style, visual. So we kind of like set the foundations for everybody in the team. We give them also posts, like they can post consistently. But also I think it's important to encourage everybody in the team to be able to get those ideas out, to post in their own style, to share what they're doing day to day. Because also a lot of the challenges that, for example, Misha and Alex have is like, because they are not in the day to day operations, the content that they can create is way more high level versus like, for example, myself, that I'm on the day to day operations, I can share like
Yeah.
the actual breakdown. So then you want those operators from your company to share about like, how they are implementing the product, what are like the new features, and do the breakthroughs. And a content person can create some of that, but it will never be able to get into the granularity of an expert. So I would say it's like 50-50 of both. You have someone that can like generate that content ideas, but it's more like, how can you activate and give resources to your team so they can create that content efficiently.
Yeah, this is brilliant. And I believe we should also talk just for a few seconds about ColdIQ powers multiple company types, right? I mean, I think you guys are not typically an agency. I mean, I look at you like a tech plus agency, kind of a new type of service as a software is another word. How do you like to define what ColdIQ can solve for B2B companies?
Yeah, I mean, how we call ourselves is like, GTM agency, but it's like a tech-enabled GTM agency. Obviously, we've heard this label of like service as a software, and we do have a lot of like workflows that it just basically can be standardized and sell as a simple workflow. Like there's a lot of inbound led outbound, for example, like website visit identification, LinkedIn engagement. Those are like evergreen workflows that you can create. Once you need to like monitor and you need to adjust, but those are basically evergreen workflows. So I would say, because we do give like a lot of like custom service, and we have like custom consultancy, like we customize a lot of what we do. You can say service as a software or tech enabled GTM agency. I think that's between there. Maybe we'll find a better name in a short period of time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the best campaigns that I saw from ColdIQ. So I believe I had liked a post by the founder, and I think just about 30 minutes later, I received an email, which was possibly an invitation to an accelerator or something. I can't recall. But, I loved how the like was treated as a signal, and some automation in the back end kind of sent me the message because it's not cold anymore. So I love that orchestration, and I want to kind of go deeper into one of those playbooks, because I like the way you talk about don't run campaigns, run systems, right? So I think this is sort of a brilliant system. Now, would you like to highlight something that, let's say, a large company would be able to execute and build a system with? And you highlighted inbound led outbound, which is sort of this. But if you could go deeper now, and let's talk about for your own, acquisition, like when you are bringing new clients on board, what are some of these systems that are running? Like I fell into one of those, which wasn't an agency pitch, but how do you explain or give examples of some of those?
Yeah. I mean, obviously like the inbound led outbound workflows are the most obvious ones. I think I will bring here like a nuance, because we are right now getting started with our ABM campaign for this year, and how these inbound led outbound workflows tap as well into ABM, so you can make sense of what's happening. Because I feel a lot of companies, when they implement this like inbound led outbound workflows, what they are missing is like routing and orchestration, like understanding what to do with each signal, where to route each lead and each company. Because it's not the same that you have like someone liking your post that's a very small company, that you have a signal of a lead that's within your ABM list. And just to clarify on the ABM part, right? And what do I consider like the ABM list and how we're running it here at ColdIQ and what we're preparing, right? So we started mapping out again, like that's like something that we refresh every 6 6 months, but like mapping out our TAM. Then for there, we have like run like a long table, clay table with like different qualification criteria to segment that audience. Then from there, we have our target account list, which is like qualified companies, and we have them in different tiers: tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4.
So the entire TAM, are you saying you're
Yeah.
identifying in specific geographies, or that might be a huge list, right? Because you qualify your ICP with a revenue marker and in B2B space. So you're talking about like what, 100,000 plus companies? Is that right? Or maybe more?
So what we have right now is like 40,000 that we got, because obviously, I mean, you can run like broader filters, but we had like an initial 40,000 company list, and then that's like we are filtering it down to have like different tables with tiers. And then once we have that, now we have like a master list where the companies are enriched, and then all of those inbound led outbound workflows, they should go and look up to that table, which is like the master brain table that understands what is our TAM, what each company, which stage is each company at. That table at the same time, it's uploaded into our CRM, right?
Or synced with your CRM. Can I ask you which CRM are you guys using now?
We're using Attio right now.
Okay. I'd had Simo from Folk. Simo, I mean, Folk is another competition. Attio kind of competes with them. But yeah, I've heard great things about Attio. So you've mapped your entire clay table brain, the list of 40,000 companies with Attio. It's a two-way sync or a one-way sync?
I'll clarify like how the sync works here, because it's like a continuous like updated sync. The 40,000 companies, that's like our initial like broad list. Then we qualify that list. So that's the list that we upload into, which is like a very smaller list that it's, between 5,000, 10,000. That's continuously updated. And then all of this. So basically, once you have that list, then you wanna start promoting, like running your ABM campaign. So you can run ads to those campaigns, which a lot of what we do is promoting our best LinkedIn content pieces.
And are you hyper targeting 1,000 people in Attio for the ads, or is it like to the entire 40,000? Are you doing custom list uploading onto LinkedIn?
Yeah, correct. So
wow.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why we have like different tiers. Why? Because I don't want to spend extra spend on tier 4 or tier 3. I want to focus first on tier 1. So if I want to put extra budget, or I have limited budget and I want to calculate the ROI, I'm going to go for tier 1 accounts to put that extra budget on. And then tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4, they're going to have like other sequences. So what happens there? Once that's running, is going to be start like to come our inbound signals that come from LinkedIn content, that come from the ads, that come as well from SEO, from website visits. And then we have all of this inbound led outbound workflows, right? Which a lot of them are through Clay. Now, Clay will look up at this master TAL list and will say, is this company part of our TAL? If so, in which tier is it? If it's in tier 1, then we'll send it to an SDR for manual outreach. If it's in tier 2, tier 3, then maybe it's like an automated outbound email, or maybe it's going to go through an automated LinkedIn DM. So now
that's brilliant, man. That's brilliant. I feel like I'm talking to a sniper. Do you have a rifle somewhere in your home? It's almost like, you're setting up these traps. It's just brilliant. All right. So yeah, keep talking. I don't want to stop you. So this is, I just want to summarize so far, if I get this right? I mean, based on the tier mapping, either you show them the ads because you can now afford to show them the ads without them interacting with any content. And, you have custom list automation on LinkedIn. And if they are part of tier 2, tier 3, then maybe a direct SDR outreach or an email campaign based on where they sit. I just have one question so far before we go ahead deeper into the system. How do you run and target these ads? Because everyone I've spoken to and who tries to do this, LinkedIn doesn't play that well. There's something called ad drift. If you give it a list of 10,000 people, which is your tier 1 list, and you want to show ads, LinkedIn usually would have a drift and it will start showing it to random people, not just that 10,000 people list. Is that something that you've felt too, or?
Yeah, so LinkedIn does that. And yeah, I honestly haven't found a way for LinkedIn to not do that. That's
Okay.
yeah. And honestly, it's not about having better data or having like, there's bad matching or anything like that. Like I've used other platforms that basically what they do is they enrich for device IDs. So you have like better data. And so then you can like actually have like better match rates. But LinkedIn has a lot of traps for you to overspend. And I don't want to talk bad about it, but it seems like it will happen. There is going to be a percentage that won't go to your target audience, and that you just have to count it as a higher CPM cost per.
Okay, I get it. So there's no magic number that you've figured that, okay, if I give it 20,000 people, it's going to be better versus if I give it 10,000, it's going to be better. You're just saying that doesn't matter what number I give it, it's going to have ad drift. That's what
Yeah,
you figured.
exactly. So you're gonna put a list of 20,000 contacts. There are going to be people that are going to see the ads that are
Yeah.
not within that list. However, the highest percentage of that people are going to be within your account. And that's why also we want to have tools to understand the accounts that we are showing ads to, if they are part of our target account list or not.
Say that again. So are you saying there are tools that can manage my ad spend and only show it to the custom audience? What's the tool that we use for that?
So it's not like it manages your ad spend. It just identifies the companies that are engaging with your ads. That's
So
like
it manages the targeting.
it just gives you visibility on the
Hmm.
companies that are engaging with your ads. It's not going to solve
Okay.
that issue that LinkedIn will just show your ads to companies that are not within like the target list that you uploaded. That just not that you're not going to be able to solve that, and nobody has solved that. That's just like consequence of working with LinkedIn. But what you can see is, okay, how many companies from that target list I am serving impressions to, right? To understand, like, okay, is it my ad spend 80% of our ad spend going towards that target list? Yes, you can get that data.
And it refers the clay list because that's where your master data is in Attio or clay list. So the tool that you're talking about, by the way, what tool is it that you guys use?
A Feebler.
Feebler. Okay. I think I've heard of this name. So Feebler can match it up either with Attio or clay tables and tell you this is the coverage of your target audience that the LinkedIn is providing you through ads. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. So it just takes the data, company engagement data from LinkedIn Campaign Manager, and then it
Yeah.
matches it with Attio. Also, it sends a webhook to Clay where you can run this
Wow.
lookup workflow to understand as well. It's another signal that we use, a company engagement. And why is this important as well? Overall, I guess like the summary where I wanted to go to, a lot of ABM campaigns are very hard to calculate the ROI because you can't expect to run ads
Yeah.
and get just like a click from that ad and then get a submission. But it's more a non-linear journey that company will take. So as long as you have a system that is able to pull every single signal that's happening within your website, LinkedIn engagement, form submissions, look up and see if that's within your company, like your town, it's tier 1, tier 2. So you can build a dashboard, and now I have like a dashboard where I can see, okay, how many companies right now are in pipeline since we started our ABM campaign, how many leads we've created that are on our TAL, and if they are tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. So then I can see the
Whoa.
progression,
Where
and I
is
have a
that?
better understanding.
Where is that dashboard living? What platform?
Attio. So it's like in the CRM.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Pipeline analysis is a standard feature. I get that. But brilliant because it's able to sync up with Clay. It can show you that data. Hey, this is gold. I mean, I love what you're kind of sharing so freely. So thank you so much, not holding back. Now, one of the things I get curious about, so let's say you showed the ads to these companies that are in your tier one. When you basically show the ads, they are the posts that are doing well. So, it could be one of the posts by your CEO or your account. And I think they're going to engage. And when they'll engage, I think one of your agents on Make N will basically put them back into either an email, direct email, SDR, reaching out to them. What's the playbook after that? Because emails, only 11% are going to, or maybe even lesser, are going to be read, right? I mean, the open rates are all time low. How do you make sure after doing such brilliant groundwork, you're not losing everything that's been done? Like, what's your reach out method to these guys?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, once you've done like all of this work, and especially like running ads, when you have the list that you've uploaded on the ads, it's the tier 1 list, so it's like the high priority list. So once you've run this, like if they receive like an automated outbound workflow, it doesn't work, that will be flagged to SDR for like a higher like outreach type. So it will be like, okay, we have this signal, they received an automated email, they haven't booked a meeting, this needs like to have like cold call because it's part of our tier 1 accounts. So that's like the steps like we take. So when we see like a tier 1 account is engaging with us and not converting, we will follow up. We'll use like follow up methods to get them to convert. And usually it's like that, more like manual outreach from the SDRs, sharing resources, understanding like what they could be enriching that company, understanding where they, and sharing hundreds of resources on like how to set up your play tables, how to run ABM campaigns, LinkedIn ads. We also get that to the founders. And so that'd be me. I'm not a founder, but we get this to the top accounts and to the founders on a Slack message, so they can connect personally to those accounts if they are tier 1. So then we'll connect with them, and they will then likely to see our content. So it just basically, like we send an email, they don't reply, we're just gonna nurture them with different workflows to be able to close them.
Yeah, this is brilliant. Now, Edbound, the company that we are building, is basically this idea around educational content as the lead magnets or resources, and that becomes the surface for where you nurture exactly the people, and there could be multiple hubs to do that. So we're looking at, you could send them webinar recordings, podcast recordings, case studies, send them to a community, call them for an event, like every hub that could at this point convert. I like it, what you're saying about the resources that the agent SDR will possibly do it from his account. Try maybe LinkedIn message, Would you also do an SMS or a WhatsApp? I don't know if it's popular with your client audience.
No, we're not doing that. We do more like cold calling directly. We're not
okay.
WhatsApp message within, LinkedIn DM, cold calling from the SDR, and then just like invites on like webinars, resources as well, like every few like weeks, depending like on when was the last time that they engaged.
Yeah, after you've told me all of this, I think I get this feeling this should be one of the quotes that should be written on your profile. Outbound isn't dead. It just needed a system that Ivan would make. Right. So I think this is brilliant. Like it's not just plain outbound. It's basically intent driven, super intelligent system that talks to each other, like every endpoint. I think we covered a lot of ground around ABM, and I think this makes a lot of sense. If it's a tier 2 list, you're not going to get the SDR. So your most powerful effort and your employees only work on that. Now, that gets me to another point about the team setup. How do you build something like this? How big is the ColdIQ team now? Like, how many people are there full time, part time?
Wow. So it just keeps changing because we have lots of, like, we have GTMs to provide the service. Like my best way to check is actually going to the ColdIQ page and see how many we have. But seems, let me check, like roughly, we have 45 people right now on the team. Big part of that is GTMs, so that's like
GTM. What do you call what?
We call them GTMs, GTM engineers.
Okay, GTMs. Okay, I get it. Yeah, because that sounded a bit cool. I wanted to make sure I get that right. What's the profile like when you? This is a question I think every founder, B2B space or regardless, has been asking themselves with AI, we no longer understand who's a GTM expert. Is this an engineer? Is this a MBA that used to be the old world? Who's this guy?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, right now, yeah, it's like you can't, you don't have any university degree for that. And it's very, very hard to understand who could be a good TME. I think the key here is like someone that is technical and can understand the, like how tools work. No, I don't know what's this specific skill or how will call this specific skill. I think it's just system thinking. And because tools are changing so much, like there's, like we have Clay, but then now Clay is changing. Then you have Cloud MCP now. So it's not about like knowing Clay or knowing N8N or knowing like any of these tools. It's just understanding how tools interact with each other, how systems work, and how you can plug them. Because it could be, today's Clay could be like, sometimes it's just going to be Cloud setting everything up, right? So yeah, I'd say like that's what I look at and I think about. So yeah.
Yeah, this is brilliant. Now, one thing that you feel every founder misunderstands about building a pipeline. I mean, you deal with so many companies. What would that be?
One of the key things that maybe it's been challenging to solve, it's and that's something like that help other B2B companies implement, is to understand the influence of, for example, LinkedIn ads and how like can help you build pipelines. So for example, one of the things we did for Aerops, like they've it's a Series B tech company.
Ahrefs. Are we talking about AHREFS, the SEO kind of company?
Aerops, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well,
So
they're big.
Yeah. So we help them like, since they were like 1 million ARR, implementing like outbound and LinkedIn ads. And one of the key challenges here was to understand the influence and how LinkedIn ads contributes to pipeline. And that's why most companies like not using LinkedIn ads to scale their GTM motion and to be able to get more like inbound from that channel. It's because there is this like no click journey, just like customers don't click on ads, and because they don't click on ads, they run a campaign, they don't see direct attribution, and then they will turn it off. And then we are able to create a system to understand that was more evaluating the influence on the LinkedIn ads on like how was contributing to pipeline. And we're able to scale from 5K per month to up to, like 10X and to 20X that, basically by creating that like influence system, which I told you is like using Feebler, but as well.
And the content. Because, if you were not promoting the regular content, it doesn't work as well. And I've tried that. Maybe I'll talk about it. I'll let you complete the whole angle of, how companies lose out on that.
Yeah, no, 100%. 80%, 70% of the LinkedIn ads that we're running are thought leader ads. So it's basically organic content that's been sponsored. And yeah, it's usually like Feebler and as well this account list, master account list that's uploaded into the CRM.
Yeah.
So you have visibility on how your account is moving to pipeline. So now imagine I have 1,000 companies. I'm starting my ABM campaigns. Now I'm having a target that in 3 months, I want that 3% of that list goes to pipeline. And that's how I can track that progression, right? It's like after 3 months, how many of percentage of that list went to pipeline? And I can understand what's the influence on those LinkedIn ads. And Feebler allows me as well to store and to save the engagement of each company CRM, so I can better as well assess that.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant insight. But I have been on this side as well. One of the reasons most of the B2B companies are scared of LinkedIn is because you could like literally burn tremendous amount of money not getting any results. And I mean, I've spoken to so many people who've had the same experience. I think you've been able to tame the beast. I would like to call it that way. You've tamed the beast. That's LinkedIn ads platform, which is one of the best engines for B2B growth. I think the other bit that you are doing really well is that works well for ColdIQ is you mastered these content production systems and you understand the psychology. My one of the questions that I have in mind now, having listened to what you're saying, as an agency, when you go and solve this for, let's say, Ahrefs or some other company, aren't they going to fall into the trap of not being able to build such great content, and then none of the ads would work? Because if you promote a content piece that's got like 3 likes or no likes, I think this looks like an ad. I don't want to engage with it, right? I mean, how do you solve that problem?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously you gotta understand what are the content pieces that are worth to run. I think one of the key things here is that not every not be, because a content piece has a lot of engagement doesn't mean it's a good content piece to run on your LinkedIn ad. Just for example, like I posted like a video testimonial a week ago, and that doesn't have a lot of engagement typically. But if I run it in a retargeting campaign of like website visitors, and they see that testimonial, then that will like has like has a very good performance. But like it's not typically a content piece that will get a lot of
Yeah.
engagement. Versus one post that can be like go viral, but it's not related to GTM, for example. So here we have to like have a balance and understand like what can work or not. An easy thing as well, like it's not so hard to understand. Like once you run a thought leader ad, which is like one of the most cost effective ad formats there are, is to
Which
look
one?
thought leader ads.
Oh, okay. Thought leadership ad. Like, can you give me an example of a content piece in that bucket?
So thought leader ads is like organic posts that are sponsored.
Okay.
Right? So
Okay.
it's like basically LinkedIn content.
Yeah,
And
I get that. Yeah.
yeah,
And you'll see promoted written very small
correct.
under the
Correct.
heading. Yeah, you could almost miss it. But yeah, I understand. You're calling that like a thought leader ad. Okay. Okay. That gives you good results, right? I mean, you're suggesting that would bring a lot of return on the ad spend.
Yeah, exactly. So those are very cost effective. And then you can check very quickly the engagement rate with like a very small spend of like the engagement rate of that specific piece of content that the target account list that you're pushing that content to is having. So then you can see that, okay, is that LinkedIn content piece actually performing well for my target account or not? And then by checking the engagement rate, then you see if that's working. So when you run the ads, the LinkedIn will tell you how many people, what's the percentage of people that are engaging, and that can tell you that content is good or bad.
Yeah, makes total sense. One of the traps that I feel anyone trying to do that falls into is that what if your target audience or the B2B founder is not able to drive any insight out? Let's say Ahrefs a SEO platform, right? So I personally feel, Ivan, you could do a fantastic job writing on their behalf. Even an agentic workflow could write thought leadership content that will get decent engagement. I get that. I buy that idea. What happens if you don't have any insight about your client's industry? Because as an agency, I think you'll offer your services to any B2B company that fits into that 10,000 people list A, right? How would you solve this thought leadership ad problem for them?
Yes. So how can you create very useful content for an industry that you're not expert on? That's 100%.
Exactly.
We do solve that by basically, obviously, like just getting deep into the product. We have obviously templates to break down like the messaging, the different like features, benefits, to create like good content. I would say to me, one of the keys is building agents that support you in that and uploading the knowledge of the company, which it can be in terms of sales calls, in terms of like sales decks that they have, and any other resources, and upload that into an agent that is able to absorb that information, and then like you can just run an interview with that agent to understand a bit better the product and see if like that content makes sense and to get that content a little bit more polished. That's just basically how we go about like interviews, sales calls, resources, building that knowledge base. And then so we are able to create that content. And then once you have that knowledge, then you like put those like templates, proven templates that we have that work well and replicate it with that industry, but with their own knowledge.
If a neurosurgeon, like somebody offering, a B2B platform to neurosurgeons. I don't know if that can be done, but let's hypothetically, it's super complicated, right? I mean, you don't know anything about biology. Would you still pick that client?
We wouldn't. We don't pick every client, but I can tell you that if I had to, I could find a way to find like content that works because let's say this is a neurosurgeon, right? That's coming and he's like posting about neurosurgery. I have no idea. So the first thing that would be is like, okay, what are some analogic like industries or analogic like profiles that are similar? So for example, it could be like a psychologist or it could be a coach that has been performing very well on LinkedIn. What type of content they're creating?
Makes sense.
And I will try to like, extrapolate that content that they create into that specific. So it's like this parallel, personalities that we could use to implement on the content. So that's just part of like the workflow that we run, right? Like someone comes in the like law firm, like legal, like very, very hard. It's like, okay, what other, LinkedIn creators that could be in a similar or analogic niche, like what type of content they are creating and can we use it to that specific company? And yeah, you could be surprised. I mean, I also do this with my own content. I could go into like SEO experts or, like experts into other, marketing niches, see what type of content they're creating. And I can take some of the formats that they use and then use it for GTM. And actually I've done that. Like there's a great creator on SEO that puts like some SEO workflows. And then I take that framework and I use it for my GTM. And then it seems like a unique content. And now as well, it's proven. So I would run the same strategy.
Yeah, this is great idea. What's one fix that you would suggest to a founder to fix their GTM, like or to put it on the sound foundation if somebody is beginning to kind of scale it up?
One fix, I would say, and actually I wrote a post not long ago. It's on the, I would call it like orchestration. So it is like the whole system that I've mentioned to you, like to understand each of the signals, they route somewhere, you understand who they are, in which bucket are they, in which tier. Because if not, you're just like running emails to a list that you've, got from Apollo. And you don't understand why it's working, what's not, what's a good signal, what's a bad signal. Like, are you running ads? Is it driving any like companies from your tier one accounts or not? You're just a little bit blind. So I would say like that system where you understand who you're targeting, who's coming, who's raising the hand, in which buckets, which campaigns are working or not. That just starts with like that orchestration to first mapping out your TAM, then having that system that can look at into the different buckets and understand where to route, what's the best place to route your leads to. So I would say that's like the where I would start if I have to like run a scale another like company from 2 million to 6 million.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thing is a big puzzle. This GTME that you spoke about, when you run ads and you emphasize on ads a lot, is this the same guy that runs ads for your clients, or you have a separate team that kind of does that? Yeah,
we have two teams or two like profiles, which is like the performance marketing manager, and we have the GTME, and then we have like as well the account manager of the account.
Yeah. So the performance guy kind of stitches it up, because I would be blown away if you had said that this is the GTME. I would have requested you to give me a few profiles, and like I think people would bid for them, right? I mean, if somebody could do both of these together. But thank you so much, Ivan. I mean, this is brilliant. I mean, you shared so freely and I loved it. Thank you so much for joining me. I would love to connect with you again, because there are a lot of synergies that I really see. And I see great future ahead. I mean, this is a brilliant time, and I think what you're on to is incredible. I mean, your understanding of funnels and orchestration and all of this. So thank you so much for joining, and I look forward to maybe doing this again sometime soon.
For sure. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. Take care, Ivan.
Bye. Have a good one.